I'm Allison, and this is Dream Anyway, a podcast for those of us who feel the pull to create, even when the path isn't clear. So wherever you are in your journey, grab a coffee, get comfy, and dream anyway.
My name is April Gilbreath. I am a social media manager. I love promoting people and just uplifting my community.
Have you been doing social media long?
For the last 15 years, I've been on social media. And for the last year, I have been helping other people grow their pages.
People always say I'm good at social media, but the truth is I'm not, because I don't have a lot of interaction. I'm just good at self-promotion, which is not the same thing.
It really takes both, but self-promotion is a great place to start.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kind of a hard thing for some people, and you kind of have to be that way on the internet. There is so much noise all the time on the internet. And if you can self-promote, that's amazing, because that's how you put yourself out there.
It's easy to do behind the monitor for me.
Same. I don't like being in front of the camera usually.
I mean, this is easy because there's nobody looking at me. But if we were in a room of even 5 of my friends, I would start blushing, if they were all looking at me at the same time. It's a terrible, terrible thing. And at 58, I just assume this is how I am.
I kind of am the same way, honestly. The internet is such a safe place for me because of that, because I can sit behind the keyboard and I can think about what I'm saying and not be worried about how I'm looking to everyone.
Yeah.
But, even going to your networking events, I love them. But once I get in the room, like I'm so excited to get there. And then I get in the room, I'm like, oh, there are so many people and I have to talk. And I think doing what I do, people kind of assume that maybe I'm extroverted no, I'm not.
I can't even walk into somebody else's room. So every time anybody shows up, I'm so impressed because I'm doing it here because people are coming to me and it feels really good. And I have like a purpose to be here.
Sure.
But to just walk into any kind of networking event, I freeze up. So I totally get that. And I'm so proud when somebody shows up by themselves. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you.
That's something that Jonathan Sheffield helps me out with a lot. He's very extroverted and very good at getting himself out there. And I'm so not. And it's kind of the same. He'll walk into any room and it just feels like he seems like he belongs there. And we all do. But I think he just has this like innate like knowing that he does. And that's something I struggle with.
Even at this age where I've done so much work on knowing my worth and not thinking people are judging me. I don't think people are judging me. It doesn't change the fact that if they're all looking at me, I'm blushing and sweating. So it's so weird because it's not that I'm worried about what they're thinking. My body has a physical reaction to it. It used to be that. I have gone to an event before. I'm just so mad at myself still. I was in my 30s. I drove up to an event. I sat in the parking lot and I just thought I'm too fat and I drove home. How crazy is that? No matter who was in there, nobody would have thought, oh, she's too fat to be here.
I feel like, something that I try to keep in mind that has helped me, especially this year, is keeping that in mind. And I try to think, okay, when I walk into a room, what do I think? And every time I walk into a room, I am thinking I'm being perceived. And I'm sure everyone else in that room is also thinking. I try to phrase it to myself as how egotistical to think people are thinking about me, and that actually helps.
And also, as somebody who's 58, and I assume a limited number of years left. 1, because I have cancer, but 2, just because I could cross the street and accidentally get killed. What a waste. What a waste of a single precious day that we have, hating on our bodies. And I have daughters who are your age, and I know it's not as easy as just saying it, but I wish it for everybody because I finally got there and I'm as heavy as I've ever been and I do not hate me.
I think that it's a forever journey to think about how you're perceived and really how you perceive yourself, because that's a huge part of it.
That matters.
I lost 100 pounds over the last few years. And sometimes I feel more down on myself now than I did then. And I think being bigger was kind of, and maybe this sounds weird, but it's kind of an opportunity to love myself, even in a position or at a weight that maybe people might think I would feel differently. Yeah. And learning to do that was honestly a really good lesson for me. And I'm trying to keep that in mind now of hey, even when I was a less ideal weight, I loved myself and I thought my body looked okay. And I also have daughters. And so I really hope that they can carry a sort of the same thing I do when I walk into a room of don't worry about what other people think of you. Everyone's thinking of their own thing and just loving yourself where you are.
Yeah.
Regardless, because you can't really change that. And being down on yourself doesn't help.
people like authenticity. How would you recommend that somebody who is trying to build their brand show their authentic side online? Like, do you have any tips or tricks as a social media manager?
It kind of depends on what you're comfortable with. I think the best way to be authentic is posting videos of yourself. And that is something that I personally struggle with. I know a lot of people do. It's hard to talk on camera. I've found that with my weight loss page, for example, there were videos where I did my makeup and I like showed up and made sure the lighting, whatever was good. And it didn't really do well. And then there were times where I was just in my car, like hair in a bun, maybe after the gym, just looking so beat up and just genuinely talking like I was talking to a friend. And that video did great. And I think part of it is just showing up as yourself and not as perfect. And I think we get really caught up online with being perfect because we see so many polished things and people actually really crave the not polished things. And so as far as going into it, if you can post videos showing up as yourself.
But like if I'm a photographer, not lately, but I have shared very personal things, but like, I'm not sure how that is helping my photography. I guess people want to do business with people, not a photographer. I see what you're saying.
It's like with you specifically, and something that I like about you, and I've followed you for a little bit now, and that I've really liked, seen a couple like personal things or things that you post, and people really do want to just work with people.
Yeah.
I don't know about like models or how they do it, but just me as someone who doesn't normally model, if I go to take my picture, I'm kind of nervous. And if I feel like the person on the other end is a real person, it makes me feel so much more comfortable. I'm trying to keep in mind, however you put yourself out there, if you're putting yourself out authentically, if there's someone that doesn't like that, you probably don't want to work with them anyways.
Right,
and I know that's a hard thing when it's like your business or obviously you're trying to promote. You don't want to be rejected or something. And that's also got to be a hard thing to put yourself out there in such a vulnerable way and people to be like, actually, no. But truly, I think that in the end, the authentic relationships you built and the people that showed up even when you were being vulnerable and liked that, make that better.
Totally.
You ever The Body Keeps the Score? I say that's just immediately what I thought of when you were talking about that. And it really does. I kind of had the same issue of sexually abused growing up and suffered a lot of abuse. And that also helped my weight gain and my eating habits. It just stores there, you know?
Yeah.
And that is something that I even found with my weight loss, talking about it. It's just the community there. A lot of people have dealt with that and kind of struggle with that.
Yeah.
And in talking about it more, you'll also find people that have gone through something similar. And like, that's a connection you have. And I think it's just a matter of deciding if it's more important to show up authentic and have authentic people coming to you, or to just keep it strictly business and not say that. Sharing my journey has made me feel a lot better than when I didn't share it.
The reason I wanted to share it was because I couldn't believe that sharing it made me so light. And I wanted that for other people because we just carry the shame. Not talking about it feels like shame. Actually, when you said that, I just remembered that a couple years ago, I was at a family gathering and my much older female cousin came up to me and she was like, I didn't know she listened to my podcasts even, but she was thanking me for sharing all that information. And then she told me how she was sexually abused in high school. And so you're right that you attract the right people. Well, that's a very good reminder. Thank you.
I try my best to keep in mind that, at least for me personally, my biggest thing I want to take out of any career that I have, any relationship, is authentic connection. And like you, I also do better one-on-one than with a group, because I feel like you can really get a sense of the other person's not performing, they're just talking with you. And that is my favorite thing.
Me too. Only thing that matters is that I light myself up, that I learn how to love myself and fulfill those empty recesses, which are so hard because for some reason it just feels lonely lately, especially with the way the politics and stuff are.
I feel the same kind of loneliness, and it's a weird thing to say because my life is so full of amazing friends and partners. You know, it's a really lonely feeling. And I think part of it is that I've really, and not in a dark way, but I'm very much someone that is like, you're born alone and you die alone.
Yeah. I don't even think that's morbid. I just think it's just a true sentence that I wish could talk about more openly.
No, same. And it's okay to like want people and need people throughout your life. But ultimately, no matter what happens with anyone else, you are with yourself.
Yes.
You know, I love my daughters. They're most of my world. But I know one day they're going to have their own lives.
It's really true.
Do I like what I'm doing? Can I sit with myself? These are important things to me because of that.
I love that at 30, you know that.
The amount of permission we think we need from people is kind of always shocking to me. And it's something I struggle with too, but it is just shocking being that you are born alone and die alone. Like, I'm the only one that can and needs to give myself permission.
Yeah.
And I also don't need to give anybody else permission. Like, people can kind of do what they want. And like, they don't need permission to do what they want, but I also don't have to be involved in it. I'm struggling with a relationship with a family member. And I think something I'm taking away from it is I'm just ignoring the negativity. I think people that are really negative or mean or whatever, they have some sort of wound and they want a response. They're like crying for attention, whether they think so or not. And so in my own rebellious way, I guess, I just don't give them the attention. Like, you just don't get that from me if you're going to be a dick. We are the only ones that give ourselves permission. And we are also the only ones that stifle ourselves. Other people can try, but it's kind of whether you allow them to or not. Doing so much work on the internet and being a part of the internet for so long and from such a young age, I think for a lot of people in its own ways can be traumatizing. We're exposed to a lot. I saw the craziest stuff before things were censored, like from a young age, I probably shouldn't have been seeing. I think that's something I had to really learn myself, is reminding myself that comparison's the thief of joy, that I don't need permission from people. And those are really key things when you're on the internet to remember, because there's a lot of negative people. There's a lot of horrible things. There's also a lot of amazing things and a lot of supportive people. And part of showing up authentically, also as far as what I do with social media, interacting with people really helps for a lot of reasons. One, it's going to help your actual numbers and people are going to see your stuff more if they interact with you. But also, I feel like it builds community and makes you feel better about your stuff, because like you build these friendships online and people are more like apt to see you. I've found that the more I do that and the more I interact in a positive way, the more I'm just getting positivity back. I'm very encouraging online, and I do find that I get that back a lot. So
that's really good. You're working on a sitcom.
I'm producing it's an Aru production. Jonathan Sheffield wrote Almost Not Quite. And essentially it is the story of a gay man in his 40s who recently left a relationship that he was dissatisfied with. And kind of that feeling of like, I'm kind of experiencing this now. I know people kind of experience this at different points in their life, but you realize like maybe what is laid out for us or what is the path that people think we should take just doesn't fit. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work for us. And so his story is, him leaving the relationship that is like perfect, perfect. He has dogs, he has a nice house, they make good money, they're supposed to be happy, and he's just not. And so he leaves that and he's kind of in this limbo, and his friends kind of help him through that and help him find a path that like works for him. And so Michaela Daniels is directing it and I'm producing it. Johnny wrote it and he's starring in it, and really excited. I love the kind of story it is. I love a story of kind of not taking the normal path and, making your own path.
Yeah.
So currently we are just looking for crew and cast and trying to get that rolling, but we'll be filming it this summer.
Oh, that's exciting. So what does it mean to be a producer?
There's different levels of producer. Technically, I'm like the top producer. So my job is more management than anything. It's less involvement directly in the creative aspect. And it's more making sure people know where to be, making sure like I'm going to be sending out to the cast, like, hey, we're filming on this day, or keeping everything together, being on set and managing. If people have problems, they're coming to me. I'm essentially running the other parts so the creative people can just do they're just acting.
Are you very organized?
I can be.
Because you mentioned ADHD and my brain's like yours is like 30,000 things. If I stop for 1 second, I'm like, I don't know what I was just going to do or going to say.
I do have a system that kind of works. I don't know why my brain works like this, but I'm really good at being organized for other people.
Oh, okay.
Like I put a lot of importance on making sure I help someone in the best way. And for some reason, I don't give that same thing to myself. And I'm like last priority in that way. That's just how my brain works.
Something to think about.
I'm working through it. I do think I'm good at being organized for other people. Having kids kind of helps with that. There's a level of organization you kind of have to have.
Do you have trouble sleeping or staying asleep once you wake up? Just curious.
I've always struggled with like insomnia. My brain, I just can't shut it off.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because me too.
if I'm awake long enough to have a thought, I'm not going, because the second I wake up, I'm like, oh, what do I need to do? I have this, I need to do this. I should do this. Maybe I should like try this. And I can't turn that off.
Do you have a lot of projects going at once?
Yes, constantly. I think that's why I like have so many. And it's funny, anybody that sees me online, they know I have like 5 million different pages. I have like 4 Instagrams. Like, it's just something I feel like if I'm not, I'm sure this is maybe something to be worked on in therapy. I don't know. It seems okay to me. But if I don't have something to focus on, my brain just doesn't know what to do. And I get really anxious. And that sounds weird because I also get anxious doing so many things. But like, it's a different kind of anxiety.
Yeah.
Like having so many projects is like, I have anxiety with a purpose. Yeah. Not having things, I'm like, I just have anxiety. Yeah. Like, I have nothing to do with my hands. And that's awful.
What do you see yourself doing in the future?
I have so many things going on. I don't know where I'm going to be. And who knows what I'm going to be interested in a year or two. My overall goal, it's not a concrete thing. It's more to stay open-minded and keep trying new things and not close myself off. Because for a while, I went through some pretty hard things with my divorce during like COVID, and a lot of things were happening. And opening myself up to new possibilities, continuing to do that, I think will take me farther than having a set goal. So like even coming on today, like I don't usually like to be in the spotlight. So coming where I'm like, this is going to be recorded and I'm talking to someone I haven't really talked to before is scary. Producing a sitcom this summer, I never thought I'd be a producer. Like, just to keep an open mind and keep trying things. And in 5 years, I hope to see myself having done a ton of side quests that I never thought I would do. And I think the sitcom's a great place to start. I never, ever thought I'd produce anything. So
I love that. Thanks for listening. New episodes drop every Thursday.